Hello everyone. Today we are going to explore the fascinating world of names and the academic field known as onomastics. Curious, from ancient civilizations to modern societies, names have always played an important role in human life. They help us identify people, describe places, preserve memory, and express culture. Names are much more than simple labels. They carry history, meaning, and identity. In this presentation, we will look at what onomastics is, how it developed over time, and what major branches it includes. By the end, you will see that the study of names opens a deeper understanding of language, culture, and society. Let us begin with the definition. Onomastics, also called onomatology, is the academic discipline devoted to the study of proper names. It examines their origins, meanings, historical development, and cultural usage. Curious, in other words, onomastics helps us understand where names come from, how they change, and what they reveal about different communities. This field studies names across languages and cultures, which makes it highly interdisciplinary. Specialists in this area are known as onomasticians. They are often linguists, historians, and anthropologists because the study of names connects language with history, society, and human behavior. Thoughtful, so, onomastics is not only about words, it is also about people and the world they live in. To understand the field more deeply, it is useful to look at the origin of the word itself. The term onomastics comes from ancient Greek. Curious, the adjective onomastikos means of or belonging to naming, and it is derived from the Greek word onoma, which simply means name. This etymology is very meaningful because it reflects the central focus of the discipline. Thoughtful, the modern term keeps a direct connection to classical thought and shows how long people have been interested in names and naming practices. In this sense, the name of the discipline itself is symbolic. Onomastic studies identity through names, and even its own name demonstrates that connection between language, meaning, and identity. The history of onomastics stretches back many centuries. In ancient times, scholars studied names found in sacred texts, myths, and early historical records in order to trace lineage, meaning, and origin. During the medieval period, written documents became important sources for name study. Curious, one famous example is the Domesday Book of 1086, which recorded names of people and places across England. Such documents are valuable because they preserve real naming practices from earlier periods. Another important historical method is prosopography, which uses the analysis of names to reconstruct populations and identify ethnic or social groups. Thoughtful, so, the development of onomastics shows that names have long been treated as evidence for understanding society, migration, and historical change. At this point, it is important to understand that onomastics is not one narrow branch of linguistics. It is a broad and diverse field that includes many specialized areas. Curious, each branch focuses on a particular type of proper name. Some branches study names of places, others study names of people, stars, animals, or even fictional characters. This diversity shows how deeply names are woven into human knowledge and experience. We name the world around us, the people among us, the natural environment, and even imaginary worlds in literature. Thoughtful, because of this, onomastics gives us many different ways to analyze meaning and identity in language. Next, we will look at several major branches of this field. One of the most important branches of onomastics is toponymy, also called toponymics or toponomastics. Curious, this branch studies place names, including their origins, meanings, usage, and classification. Toponyms are the names given to geographical locations and features. These may include macro-toponyms such as continents, countries, and regions. They also include physical features like rivers, mountains, and valleys, as well as settlements such as cities, towns, and villages. Thoughtful, place names are especially important because they often preserve historical memory, reflect cultural contact, and show how people understand space and territory. In many cases, a place name can reveal old languages, earlier populations, or the natural characteristics of a landscape. Another major branch is anthroponymy, which focuses on the proper names of human beings. Curious, this includes both individual and collective personal names. Researchers in this field are called anthroponymists. Anthroponymy studies given names, or first names, and examines their cultural, religious, and linguistic origins. It also studies surnames, which may reflect ancestry, occupation, family history, or geographical background. In addition, this branch analyzes nicknames and pseudonyms, which often reveal social identity, personal image, or group belonging. Thoughtful, personal names are especially rich in meaning because they connect language with family tradition, social values, and cultural identity. Through anthroponymy, we can better understand how societies name individuals and how names reflect both personal and collective experience. This slide emphasizes an important idea: every name tells a story. Thoughtful, across cultures, languages, and historical periods, personal names carry layers of meaning. A name may reflect heritage, faith, family hopes, cultural values, or a sense of belonging. That is why names are never completely neutral. They often preserve social memory and personal history at the same time. Anthroponymy helps uncover these hidden narratives by examining what names mean and why they were chosen. For example, some names express religious tradition, some indicate noble or family lineage, and others reflect modern cultural trends. Curious, in this way, the study of names becomes the study of identity itself, because names accompany us throughout life and shape how we are seen by others. Onomastics also reaches beyond Earth through astronomy, the branch that studies the names of celestial bodies and astronomical features. Curious, this area connects science, mythology, and linguistics. It includes the names of stars and constellations, such as Sirius, Orion, and Andromeda, which come from Greek, Arabic, and Latin traditions. It also includes the naming of planets and moons, many of which are based on classical mythology. Astronomy is interesting because it shows how human beings bring culture and imagination into scientific observation. Thoughtful, even when studying the universe, people use names shaped by myth, tradition, and language. So, astronomy demonstrates that naming is not only practical, it is also symbolic and deeply connected to how humanity interprets the cosmos. Another specialized branch is zoonymy, which studies the names given to animals. This includes names of individual pets as well as names used for species. Curious, these names are not random. They often reflect cultural attitudes, folklore, and changing relationships between humans and the animal world. The slide also reminds us that animal naming can range from scientific Latin binomials to everyday pet names. Both types are meaningful in different ways. Scientific names reflect classification and taxonomy, while common names often reveal emotion, tradition, and everyday perception. Thoughtful, zoonymy shows us that naming animals is also a way of expressing how a culture understands nature. In other words, the names we give animals reveal not only what we see in them, but also what we value in the natural world. In addition to the major branches already mentioned, onomastics includes several other important areas. Literary onomastics studies names in literature and fiction. Curious, it explores how authors choose names to reveal character traits, support themes, and create narrative meaning. Socio-onomastics examines the social and cultural role of names. It studies how naming practices reflect identity, power, and social change over time. Another branch is hydronymy, a subfield of toponymy that focuses specifically on names of bodies of water such as rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans. Thoughtful, these branches show that name study can be applied in many contexts, from literary analysis to social research and geographical investigation. Together, they demonstrate the richness and flexibility of onomastics as a field of study. Why do names matter so much? Curious, this slide gives the answer. Names are far more than convenient labels. They carry historical, cultural, and linguistic significance. Through names, we can trace stories of civilizations, migration, and belief systems across long periods of time. Names also provide historical insight by helping scholars identify migration patterns, ethnic origins, and population movements. At the same time, names reveal cultural exchange. Borrowed and adapted names show how civilizations interacted and how ideas moved from one society to another. thoughtful. Because of this, names function almost like living records of human contact and development. Studying names allows us to see how language preserves memory and how culture is transmitted through naming practices. To conclude, onomastics teaches us that names shape our understanding of the world in powerful ways. They help us describe where we are through toponymy and hydronymy, who we are through anthroponymy, what we know through astronymy and zoonymy, and what we imagine through literary onomastics. From the stars above us to the places we live and the names we carry, naming is deeply connected to human identity. Onomastics continues to uncover this rich tapestry of meaning across cultures and time. So, by studying names, we are not simply studying words. We are studying history, identity, culture, and human experience itself. Thank you very much for your attention.